Hi, my name is Gwenaëlle Folange, Gwen. English is not my first language, not even the second one, but I really want that some persons in my family understand what I have to say. I'm starting today these videos on TikTok to talk about dementia with Lewy Bodies. I had to look on internet how it was called in English because I wanted to say Lewy corpses, and I know that the corpse is not the same thing as the body. So I want to talk about dementia with Lewy Bodies and Parkinsonism. I'm sorry, English is not my language, and I have, because of that dementia, problems to speak sometimes. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a shrink, but I'm a patient. And maybe watching so much Grey's Anatomy and Dr. House will help me with the medical terms. Anyway, I'm 59. I have my diagnosis since I was 56, 57, kind of. But I have symptoms since about 5, 6 years, 7 years. I'm not really sure because I've never been very good to recognize people or to find my way in a city. But anyway, this first video is to urge you to look for a diagnosis when you feel that something is wrong. Don't allow a big doctor to tell you that you have nothing. The first neurologist I saw, she was a woman, very nice, with a lot of studies and diplomas. She told me that I had absolutely nothing, that I was stressed, that everybody in a big city is stressed and everybody forgets things sometimes. I had a scanner of my brain, but she said it was kind of okay. So I left, and a few months or maybe a year later, I had to see another neurologist. It was something related to my vertebral spine. And so I didn't want to see the super mega oof specialist, Mrs. I don't know what, far away from home. And he believed me because, well, he was examining my back, and he was asking about my life, how I felt, if I had other problems. And I started to tell him that I didn't recognize people. One day I didn't recognize my brother, and he was at my home, and I had invited him, and I didn't know who he was, that I had problems with the words, with my way to use my brain. And he said, okay, we're going to check further, more. He sent me to do another scanner. Resonance. I don't know if you say scanner. It's that big machine that makes and reads your brain in little pieces. And I went a few days later to look for my results. They had injected me some radio. No, it's not the English, it's the word. You know that thing that you measure with a Geiger measurer? Well, they injected me something, and they could see that I had some problems in my brain, and it was written in Spanish, but it was really written Lewy Bodies. I didn't care much for it because I didn't know what it was, but later it was written Alzheimer. That I understood. I walked around that place in the streets for about an hour before I decided to really come home and speak to the kids, to my husband. It was a nice family meal. And I was okay with that, huh? Okay. And I went back to see the doctor with the results, and poor guy, he's a young man, relatively young because he's a doctor, so he studied years and years, so a young doctor, and he just couldn't tell me that I have a real problem. I still have it. And I had to say, I told him, well, okay, it's Alzheimer, right? Well, yes, I'm sorry, it's Alzheimer. It's okay, don't worry. And he said, well, on another side, we're lucky. Me, not him, but we're lucky because Alzheimer is the slower dementia that you could have. So you have several years in front of you to live well. He prescribed me medicaments. Of course, I say of course because it's kind of the story of my medical life. I was allergic to them. And that was it. In one of my visits to my doctor, a rheumatologist and internista, it's like a specialist of everything, not a generalist, it's more than that. He said to me, I don't believe in that story of Alzheimer. I think that it's something else. And he sent me to another specialist. And that man who is so, I was going to say so cute, but he's not a kitten, but so nice, so very nice. He checked my scanner. He asked me a lot of questions, and he made me walk and count for backwards and remember words and blah blah. I made also a kind of a psychological test. That was yes, there's a problem. Okay, well, I had everything and he told me, okay, it's not Alzheimer. Your doctor is right, and I was relieved. And just after that, he told me, well, it's not Alzheimer, but it's dementia. Anyway, dementia with Lewy bodies. I'm reading what I'm saying because it's in English and because my memory, not Lewy corpses, Lewy bodies. And Parkinsonism. What's Parkinsonism? It's like Parkinson, but instead of having one part of your brain affected, it's the whole brain. So you're going to have more and more and more problems to remember, to recognize people, to orient yourself, because it gets that kinds of, you know, the little balls that are sometimes in smashed potatoes that some people like and some people don't like. Well, I have that in my brain. It's made of some kind of protein, and of course, the electrical impulses can't go wherever they're supposed to go. So I have, the persons with that dementia have problem of memory, of movement and equilibre, and staying to stand up or to sit or something like that, plus the Parkinsonism. Sometimes it can be funny afterwards, and problems to think, because our brain is not only the one that makes our body to function, it helps us to think. I understand that those Lewy bodies can be anywhere in the brain. The most of them, I don't know how much I have, are here in the frontal lobe and here in the left temporal lobe. You will look on the internet if I'm saying the things right. And it affects then here my memory, and here it affects my ability to to use language. That means that I don't find words, I misspeak. I want to say garbage and I say potato. I don't know. I don't speak in English normally, so that's not the words I mix. I have problems to write because I don't find the words I need. But I have problems too to understand what someone is telling me. And I have problems while reading. I don't understand what I'm reading. It is not always, all the time. It's getting it's getting longer and longer in time, in days. But for now, I'm able to do this. I don't know what I forgot to say. I wrote it, but I made the same video in Spanish and in French, so I don't remember what I said in one or other language. I know videos are supposed to be short, so people watch them until the end. So if you got until this, please, the lesson here, the listener, there's going to be a quiz, is that don't stay put if the doctor doesn't believe you. Keep looking for a diagnosis. Keep pushing. And well, some other day I will talk to you about how funny it is to have dementia with Lewy Bodies and Parkinsonism. Ha! It's hard to say that word. Parkinsonism. Thanks for getting to the end. Until the end, to the end, here.